Hello, fellow scientists. It's TVGP's We Roguelike It, ranking episode 5.
We need to invest in lab coats.
We really do. They're probably pretty cheap.
Yeah.
We are going to go through and rank Darkest Dungeon. Now they're done. This is before we scoot on into the Swords of Ditto. We're going to go back and look at our previous 5 games. And we're going to see, if you're watching the video version, right-hand side of the screen is our ranking here. And we'll talk about... Let's go over our... Since we only have 4 games in there now, let's go over our list as it is. Number 4, Sunless Sea.
Yep.
Number 3, Riddled Corpses EX. Number 2, Crypt of the Necrodancer. And number 1, Hand of Fate.
Yep.
So, let's scoot Darkest Dungeon here at the bottom and say, is Darkest Dungeon better than Sunless Sea?
Yes.
Yeah, that one. I feel like that one's pretty easy. Is Darkest Dungeon better than Riddled Corpses EX?
Yes.
I would agree with that, yes. Scientists agree so far. 2 out of 2 scientists agree. Is Darkest Dungeon better than Crypt of the Necrodancer?
No.
Interesting. I would say yes.
I knew I knew as soon as, because for those watching the video, I can't see this list.
Right.
I see the other list that we have, like the backup list, shall we say?
Right.
And as I was looking at it, I was thinking it's gonna get above Riddled, and then there's gonna be a fight.
I don't think a fight. I think it's a measured discussion about how you're wrong discussion? And I'm right. Yeah, I'm sort of surprised that this is where you would think it, but I think with the episode we just released, the finale of Darkest Dungeon, I think what we came away with was that it's a really great game that hit me at the right time and hit you at the wrong time.
Yes. Yeah. But trying to do my best to take that aspect of it to the side. Let me just
science. No feelings.
Stick it in a box, push it to the side,
right,
and never talk about that again.
Right.
That's a Bad Boys reference for the folks at home. Bad Boys 2 specifically, I think.
Yeah.
Let's break this down.
Okay.
Crypt of the Necrodancer. We're going to rewind a second. We're going to talk about our the discussion we had in the Discord forum, which we mentioned on the actual show itself. Now we'll talk about again here. I think as a roguelike list, Crypt goes above Darkest Dungeon. I think as a game, Darkest is above Crypt.
Ah, I see.
I think as a roguelike, Crypt is a better roguelike than Darkest Dungeon is.
Boy, the science is tricky.
This is where we come into a contention. Is this a list of the best games that we play for the show, or the best games that exemplify roguelikes?
I think if we were going to be true scientists, I think it would have to be the latter.
I think so too, which is why I think Darkest Dungeon sits at number 3 and doesn't go above Crypt. Because Crypt has that thing that we love. It's a run-based game. It has the permanent upgrade system. It has unlocks. It has characters.
Great music.
It has truly phenomenal music. It's got
what's
really
funny
good
is
story.
Above it and below it are games that have really great narrators. Crypt of the Necrodancer has a great shopkeeper, but not a great narrator.
Yes.
Yeah.
So honestly, I think as a game, I do think Darkest is probably a little bit better than Crypt, not by much. I think as a roguelike, I think Crypt ekes it out.
Man. Yeah, I will have to agree with you. I think if this was my own personal ranking, I think Darkest Dungeon would go at the top.
Yeah.
I think it's really hard to beat something like Hand of Fate, but I think Darkest Dungeon, for me, does it. I think largely because it has a larger breadth of options with classes and more dungeons and way more stuff.
The scope of the game is insane.
And I think Hand of Fate for us was so successful because its scope was so small. Because it has that one thing it does, and it did it really well, and it didn't have a lot of chaff on that. It didn't have a lot of fluff. Okay, I will agree. And pulling my heart out and just putting the scientific method into that hole in my chest, I will say I'm okay with Darkest Dungeon being there.
I may or may not have been thinking about this for about 2 or 3 days, by the way. Thinking,
me too, yeah.
like, technically, yes, it's a better game, but roguelike wise,
Right. Well, and I think for the show purposes, I'm glad that we figured out what this list really is. At least now, that might the definition might change if we find something we really love and just say, screw it, that one's number one. But yes, I mean, either way, Darkest Dungeon, all 5 of these games are fantastic games.
Yes, 100%. Like,
yeah. So let's go over our list
playing them all.
here again before we wrap up. I have another quick one, but as men of science, we are nothing if not brief. Number 5, Sunless Sea. Number 4, Riddle Corpses EX. Number 3, Darkest Dungeon. Number 2, Crypt of the Necrodancer. And number 1, still at the top of the pile, Hand of Fate. Which, go play if you haven't. Hand of Fate is really great.
Go play them all. Darkest Dungeon was on deep sale. Go buy it.
Yeah. And we talked about this at the end of our wrap-up for Darkest Dungeon, but the next game is Swords of Ditto. So we're going to play that for probably about 4 weeks. And at the end of those 4 weeks, we'll wrap that up. And then your favorite scientists will come back to find out where that fits in the soon-to-be list of 6.
Curiosity here.
Sure.
We did a year worth of, just over a year worth of podcasting on Isaac.
Yes.
Do we put Isaac in the list or not?
Man, I don't. Maybe I'll just put that in another category next to it, called like the all-time greats, and just say the Body of Isaac. All right, thank you very much, everyone, for listening and watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye.